Hi there, my name is Henry, also known as Music Simplified, and I decided to make a couple of reviews about speakers and a couple about headphones too, because lately I've been trying out a lot of gear to find the perfect speakers for myself, and I feel I have learned so much about speakers, sound, and music through this experience that I have a lot to share, and maybe it would help you in making better decisions for yourself when looking for that sort of gear. Mm, my reviews will be entirely focused on sound because I feel there's so many advertisement like reviews where they just give you a rundown of all the features like straight out of the book, and there's really no accurate description about what you will experience as a listener. They'll be like, oh, the mid-range is clear, the highs are very good, bass is nice, but what is the speaker actually about? How will it influence your work, your experience of music? Will it be able to teach you new things? And that these are very important uh, things to consider when buying a more expensive kind of speaker and when upgrading. I came from Yamaha HS8. I had those for 2 years in my studio. My studio is a living room sized space, so it's bigger than a regular bedroom for sure. It also has bass traps and acoustic panels all over, so I've invested a couple of thousand into acoustic treatment. Now, even though the room is bigger than the regular bedroom producer studio and it is quite well treated, still the Yamaha HS8 had too much bass, and this caused like a huge bump here in the frequency spectrum and a dip over here. So with some tracks the bass would be like boomy and too much, and with others it just would disappear into this room as if there was none. So as I grew aware of that and there were some other mistakes I started noticing about the speakers, I understood it's time to go on a journey and test all kinds of different speakers and find the perfect ones for me. And the first ones that I received and tested were the Adam A7X. And as soon as I plugged in those speakers, I just started laughing because the difference was so big. It felt as if all my life there has been like this notebook or a piece of plastic between me and the speaker, and suddenly it was removed and I could hear. Um, and They are double the price. The HS8 is about 500 euros a pair. These go for a bit over 1,000, but the difference in value is cosmic, really. Mm. What makes this speaker so special is that it has a very engaging sound, meaning that all the music is happening very close to you, or you feel a part of it, and you just feel like you're part of the band or just right there. Like the band, I even mean in electronic music, like you're a part of all the instruments or you're in between them and you're experiencing them on a very personal level. Whereas with, let's say, the Genelec 8040s, I always felt that it's all happening on a stage, like 2 meters away from me, or well, it's just like somewhere out there. It's extremely detailed and the sound is beautiful, but it's always like there, not here. And these speakers are super here, and what it makes you want to do, it makes you want to explore more music. It makes you want to try making new sounds. It just makes you want to spend more and more time with these speakers, and this is an excellent quality that I love Adam Audio for. You guys are doing a great job. Mm. So let's talk about the different frequencies. High frequencies are absolutely beautiful. They have the most detail of any speaker that I've heard under, let's say, 2,500 euros or $3,000. They have the most detail, yet they are never sharp. Some people say that the highs are a bit overemphasized um, compared to like much more expensive speakers. Yes, they don't have the flattest possible response, but compared to this price range and anything lower than that, then you are gonna get a much better frequency response anyway. So to me, the highs were never overemphasized. Let's say with the Genelec 8040s, I felt that they had less detail in the highs, but they sometimes became sharp. These had way more detail, yet they were softer. So these are beautiful high frequencies that actually take your attention to a lot of detail. Like with drums, you instantly start noticing the difference of drum hits that are hit harder, or let's say somebody plays a hi-hat, does he hit it like softly and do like sort of soft regular hits, or is it like one hit that has this accent? You notice these things straight away. Same with kick drums, well, whatever kind of drums, there's so much more texture to them suddenly, and they're very transient, rich, and accurate. And doesn't matter if it's electronic music or bands, instantly any activity in the drums just starts receiving so much more detailed attention from you as the listener, as there is more information there. Also, this tweeter works perfectly for vocals and instruments because it adds a lot of air to them, a lot of space, and a really natural feel. Now, combining it with the mid-range, which is also very forward, it is very well presented and very detailed. You start noticing, again, more detail in everything. When somebody is playing the piano, do you hear the hammer noises? Do you hear when somebody is pressing down on the pedal? You used to hear them with the Yamahas as well. I did. The information was there, but it wasn't presented in a way that I would start noticing these things clearly. Now with these speakers, it is very apparent to you, and music just attains an extra layer of depth. Low mids are also beautiful. The bass sounds, I like a lot of glitchy, down-tempo bass music, chill out stuff, and so on. All of these wobbles and these bass sounds get much more character to them. Before it was just a wobble, but now you start questioning, does it have a slimy sound? Does it have a wet sound? Is it like water kind of wet, or is it kind of like this slimy goo type of sticky wet? Maybe it has a metallic character to it. Maybe it sounds like more like plastic. So every bass sound that I was listening to suddenly had a richer character to it, and I was enjoying it so much more. So definitely many times more detail in down-tempo bass music and these speakers compared to my previous Yamaha HS8s. The sub bass, I would say, is definitely a weaker point in this speaker. Though comparing it to, let's say, Yamaha HS7, it still has like the same amount or a bit more bass. So similar sized speaker, but a cheaper one, let's say. In that case, these guys have a similar amount of bass, but it's way clearer compared to my HS8s, which has a lot more low-end power. Of course, this guy has less bass. And at first, it was a big doubt on my mind. Can I get used to having less bass? I'm really used to the Yamahas, like boom, boom, raw power. Here I am. Here's the bass. And probably when I had 10 friends over for a session here or parties, of course they would enjoy the bass of like the amount of bass that the Yamahas give more. But after like 2 days of A/B testing these speakers and listening to both of them, suddenly I found that I was not using the Yamahas anymore at all, and I didn't like the bass of the Yamahas compared to this one, because here there might be less of it, yeah, but then again my room and the sound like I wanted, it sounded more equal. The big Yamahas, when they played some tracks where the bass disappeared, then I got these speakers, turned it on, and suddenly the bass was there, and it had much more than the Yamahas in this case. So actually it was a big upgrade in bass. Also the front ports make it feel very fast and personal, and it's very much directed to you. So for listening, learning music, and making music, I definitely prefer the bass of these speakers over the Yamahas that I had. So there's a consideration there. These speakers are definitely not for the bass heads, unless you're a super musical bass head who really loves the textures of the bass. But if you're a person who considers important, like not the amount, but the actual way it is presented, like how does it sound, and you want to use these speakers for working actually in this low region, then these provide a much clearer, better image with enough power, at least for a living room size studio and definitely for a bedroom studio, for you to do all the work you need with them. Of course, the Adam S2Vs, which have like the top model of Adam Audio, as far as like smaller speakers go, of course it has deeper bass and a bit more, and it's presented in a bit more of a purer way, but we're talking 3 times the money here as well. So if you're going for around €1,000 for a pair or lower, then this will be a serious upgrade in bass still. Now, how does it compare to other speakers? It is a very good competitor against any speaker up to, let's say, €2,200 or even up to $3,000. My currency calculations might be a bit off here, but you know what I mean. Sure, some speakers which are way more expensive than this one, they had some other areas where they would be better, where they sound cooler, or some things might be more detailed or whatever. But for me, none of those could replace the engaging property of these speakers, because they just make me want to explore music more. They make me want to listen to it more, and they make me want to learn more. And as an audio enthusiast, or a guy who makes music, this is exactly what I'm looking for. You know, even if I get, let's say, more bass, but then the high end is hurting my ears, or I get more bass, but everything seems to be like a bit like 2 steps away from me, then everything also becomes a bit less musical for me. So this speaker was a clear winner amongst many speakers, even twice the price range of what this speaker goes for. And like I said, anything lower than that, it just beats the shit out of its competition. I do want to say that consider upgrading your room as well if you're going for speakers which are already like €1,000 or more, $1,000 or more, let's say, because I tested the Yamaha HS8s next to $2,500 speakers in a regular living room with no furniture, which of course makes the sound especially bad or unforgiving. And they sounded pretty much the same. You know, if it's a bad room, whatever speaker you put in there, it is the same. However, if you put bass traps, some acoustic panels, if you spend some time and money for acoustic treatments, the magic of the speaker starts to come out. Suddenly the stereo becomes very precise, and the speaker really is like a scalpel. It is giving you like a detailed image of where everything is moving. Is it to the left and to the right? How deep is it, like 3D wise, or yeah, is it like on the background? Is it on the very forefront? There are many layers in between where you can also find your sounds. So this really creates this beautiful, beautiful sound stage, stereo image. Your bass will sound better. Your high end, even your hi-hat starts sounding way more accurate once you do the acoustic work. So definitely consider, even if doing it yourself and investing a couple of $100 into removing the problems in your room, or even just lifting around furniture in the right way, then these speakers become worthy of their investment, and then you can hear their magic. So alright, thank you very much. I hope this review has helped you. I will be posting new ones every week from now on for a couple of weeks, because I do have quite a bit of gear I can review that I've tried, and quite a lot of, like a bit of gear which has never been reviewed, and it's or never been adequately reviewed. So I'm very happy that I can give a contribution. Do keep an eye on this channel for future reviews, and I also really enjoy if you give feedback to me, so I can improve, because this is something that occasionally and in the future I do want to keep going and hopefully improving at, and trying out new gear and learning from it, and hoping you can learn from it you. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day.